Can we talk? How are you? Cool. I want to talk about emotional resonance and empathic identification. Now, emotional resonance is when you listen to sad music or sad things, or just identifying yourself with things that are sad because it helps you express your emotions better. It's a really big thing in Gen Z. Often at times we listen to very sad music, very depressing, melancholy things. And I wanted to talk a lot about how it can help and harm. Now, empathic identification is, feeling those things through other people. When you connect with somebody who has gone through traumas or troubles that you relate to as well. And I think that's the helpful side of it because a lot of the time we're put in situations where we feel like no one understands. But when you are connecting with someone who understands, quite literally, because they've been through it, you guys form, you see each other in a different way. And I think, when you form that type of connection with someone, that is a very special type of connection, a very different type of connection, unlike one, you know, in which you just meet a friend somewhere and you guys will just chill. I think when you can identify with someone else and someone else's struggles, you begin to see yourself in that, and it helps you understand your own emotions by helping them and watching them process their own as well. You guys begin to bounce these ideas back and forth to each other. Um, and it's a really good thing, but I also think that our generation isn't entirely prepared for the ramifications that has. I think when you can empathically identify with someone, that connection being so much deeper than just, hey, we're friends, and it going down to a you see me, I see you type of connection, it can become something that gets very tricky because now you're in a state to where you've connected with this person on such a different level, such a different level that it almost feels as if they're not just your friend anymore. This is somebody really important to you because they're a huge piece in you understanding yourself. And I wanted to talk about, you know, how we can learn to not put so much pressure on people and understanding that you can identify with somebody else's pains and somebody else's troubles, but that doesn't mean we have to turn them into you. I think that's where a lot of people get it kind of mixed up. They identify with these people, and by identifying with them, they form such a great and strong connection because they almost see themselves like it's a mirror. They almost go into every conversation in every instance, almost reacting in a sense as if they're just talking to themselves. And when these two people start to grow and heal their traumas and their troubles together, that connection doesn't really seem to, I wouldn't say last, but you need to connect on a different plane more. You need to be able to connect not just from each other's troubles, not just from what you guys have been through and what you guys can identify with each other, but learning to grow with each other. Because I think if you grow with someone based off of the idea that you guys are both stuck, you guys have both gone through this, and now you're both stuck. When you guys try to connect on that type of level, once one or the other grows, the other person will kind of feel a little bit left out because it's like, okay, well, I'm not growing. We've gone through the same things, and it's going to start to make you feel almost like you're behind, which you're not. But that's just kind of how it'll start to feel. The other half I wanted to talk about, the emotional resonance, listening to sad music. I think a lot of the time, Gen Z, we listen to a lot of sad things, and I wouldn't even say we identify with those things sometimes. I think a lot of the times, us being, moody teenagers, we try to identify with situations that genuinely aren't ours. I hate to break it to you, but as good as Prime Drake is, you don't relate to that man. You don't. You do not relate to that man. He might sound like he's spitting something because he really is. He really is. But you have to be able to tell yourself when you're just trying to make yourself sad. Resonating with something and forcing yourself to align with it are two different things. You have to be able to understand when this is not just emotional resonance now. You are forcing yourself into a depression. When you're listening to Frank Ocean, good music, it makes you feel things, it makes you feel emotions. And for that, it's good. But don't let those emotions become your reality. Don't tell yourself that that's your life, because truth be told, it really isn't. I think I definitely struggle with this issue a lot. I've been getting a lot into Pierce the Veil recently, and Circa Survive, and Hail the Sun. And I listened to Relax Divide. Really good song. Just check it out. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm just like, man, this song just so good. Like, this is me. And I had to genuinely pause the song and like remind myself, no, it is not. Post college daydreams. You're 19, lyric. You're not post college. You have to be able to tell yourself when you're going too far. Now, I don't want to just seem like I'm being a Debbie Downer. So I wanted to talk about how emotional resonance can be good as well. I think when we listen to things, hear things, read stories, anything of the sort, and we can find some sort of ourselves in that little thing, that little piece of ourselves in there, it helps you feel like you're being heard. Emotional resonance is almost a lot like empathic identification, just, you know, empathic identification is more of like a person to person type thing, while emotional resonance can happen just simply with oneself. So, when you're listening to these things and you're reading these stories, you begin to gain a different type of perspective on your own issues that you didn't really think that deeply into. Um, and that can do you a lot of wonders, because by thinking deeper on your own issues, Cloud, let's chill. By thinking deeper on your own issues, you can get a different perspective from it. Like I said, this isn't your life. What Drake is rapping, what Childish Gambino is rapping, what Frank Ocean is singing, not your life. Janae Aiko, not your life. These are not your life. But if you can find yourself in that type of, if you can slip in there and find yourself in those lyrics for just a moment, you begin to see what your life could be if you allowed those emotions to take over. You have to learn to, listen and hear these things and not take them for what they aren't. I think that is a very important thing. And I actually just wrote about it in my book this morning. You have to learn how to hear what someone is saying, not what you are feeling from it, but hear exactly what they are saying. Just this morning, I had gotten a text from somebody, and I was telling them just how much I missed them and how excited I was to see them soon. And when they replied, they were like, "Yep, I'm really excited too." And for a second, I thought to myself, "Oh man, you don't miss me too? That sucks. Like, bummer." But then I realized, you're tripping, dog. They didn't say that. Where do they say that? You got to learn how to hear what they're saying and not what you are feeling. Because when you try to hear what you are feeling instead of what they are saying, that is when you start dragging yourself into that depression, which you shouldn't be doing. So when you decide to go and listen to your Drake or your Party Next Door or your Frank Ocean or your Circa Survive or your Pierce the Veil or My Chemical Romance or anything for that nature, when you are listening to those songs, I want you to truthfully listen. When you are yelling those lyrics from the rooftop, I want you to say exactly what they are saying. Feel what they are saying, not what you are feeling. And you'll gain a whole new perspective. A lot of the times when I'm listening to songs, I like to genuinely break it down and be like, yeah, that's real shit right there. That's that real music. And I do that because when you let those emotions take over how you actually feel about something, you begin to get like a clouded judgment on it. Your view on it is very, 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 very clouded and blocked by all of your emotions you're feeling. So go word for word with it. Go word for word with Drake. Go word for word with Party Next Door, Frank Ocean, whatever. Break it down. And if you feel like you can see yourself in those lyrics, ask yourself, why do you think you relate to that? How closely do you relate to this scenario? And now that you've identified with this 30-year-old man singing about his troubles, how can you not be like this 30-plus-year-old man identifying his troubles? How can you be better? We're 19. We don't gotta be 39 plus years old singing love songs about when you were 16. That don't make no sense. Learn to identify it here so you don't have to identify it there. Learn to use that emotional resonance to your best of your ability, not, making yourself feel levels of discomfort that no one should be feeling. So, though you're listening to those sad songs, even if you're sad, not sad, that's what we do as teenagers. I don't know why. But when you listen to those sad songs, don't let them just be sad songs. Even if it's as much as simply just saying, real. Nah, what they're saying is real. Even if it's as much as that. Learn to differentiate yourself and the lyrics. Me. Learn to break apart those two different worlds because you are not living that. Now, if you happen to come across a song that genuinely feels like this is your life, on some real, this is your life. If you come across something that feels like genuinely, this has to be about me. Like I said, learn to feel what those lyrics are saying and not what you are feeling. A lot of the times we add our own emotions to things. Songs, books, movies, whatever. We add our own emotions so that way they could be more like us and they can make you feel something that you don't necessarily need to be feeling. By all purposes, it is okay to be sad. It is okay to listen to things, watch things, read things that make you feel those types of emotions, but don't ever let those things make you feel those emotions and keep you there. Emotional resonance, the biggest part of it is identifying with these emotions so you can feel better. Let's never forget that last part, feeling better. So if you're listening to something and you feel like it's just making you feel worse and worse and worse, try not feeling it how you want to feel it. Try feeling it exactly how they said it. And I promise you'll feel a whole lot better because you'll realize, man, whew, that ain't my life. Good. I listened to the Daniel Caesar album. I played the first song and I was like, what? This is so sad. And then I had to remind myself, that's not my life. It's okay. So for the people out there who skip certain songs in their playlist because it just brings them too much emotion, try to realize that that ain't your life. It's okay. It'll be okay. And like always, take everything with a grain of salt. Take every day slowly. Go at your own pace. But learn that it is about feeling better. This whole journey, our whole lives, is culminating up to that one big moment where you can sigh and be like, I've truly lived. I have truly lived. So, emotional resonance. Good, bad, it's good. When you let it be. Hear what they're saying, not what you're feeling. Don't take the joy out of something that you don't need to be taking the joy out of. Anyway, Cloud is losing his mind, so we're gonna go ahead and get him out of here. But thank you. Say bye, Cloudy. Bye bye.